Hi there. Do you want to know why a midlife sex crisis could be a good thing for your marriage? That's what we're talking about right now. I'm Mary Whitman Ortiz, Christian sex educator, relationship coach, and author. And I have been helping people to grow the connection in their relationships for over 20 years. On these videos, we talk about everything you need for greater sexual intimacy in marriage. Are you ready to dive in? I have 3 ways to show how a midlife sex crisis can be a good thing for your marriage. Here we go. Reason number 1. If you acknowledge the issues, you're on your way towards healthy. What does that mean? You're being proactive. You're being intentional. You don't have your head buried in the sand. You're not in denial or distracting yourself. Even though it is painful, it's uncomfortable, when you face the issue, it is the smartest, most healthy thing that you can do. So just by acknowledging that there's some kind of issue, that's a good thing. That is a healthy thing. And truly, when you look at aging, you're either aging or you're not living. And I think we would all choose aging as the option. And it's not if, it's when. And it's a cycle. There are stages all throughout our lives. So making that adjustment, making that shift, first within yourself as an individual, but then sharing it with your spouse is going to be super helpful. But let's be frank, because there are common problems that women face as they age. And if we face these common problems, then you diffuse the anxiety because we decrease the unknown. Every time you get new information, it will help you to process because you have more pieces to consider. Once again, that will reduce the anxiety around the situation. So there are 5 common problems that I am going to share with you today that women experience in regards to sexual intimacy. The first one, hormones. Truly, ever since puberty, a woman, a female, will encounter issues in regards to hormones. And yes, there are all those monthly changes with the cycle and the ebb and the flow. Oh my goodness, there's the seasons of becoming pregnant, carrying through the pregnancy, the childbirth, the nursing. I mean, every stage of that is huge and impactful. And then later in life, as women approach menopause, there are additional symptoms and issues, problems, whatever word you want to use, that women face. And we always hear about the hot flashes. There are mood swings. There are different body points that have sensitivity, and today's sensitivity is going to be completely different than tomorrow's sensitivity. I've had women describe it as the invasion of the body snatcher. It's like, whoa, is it even my body anymore? Because every day something new is going on and can be very challenging. But it does help to know that you are not alone and that those issues are very, very common. And the fact that they are very common also means that there are more resources available for you to get the help that you want, to be proactive as you're acknowledging these issues and taking steps. So what else happens from that? Vaginal dryness and loss of elasticity. So this can play out in many areas, specifically with intercourse, and couples may need to try new or different lubrication. They may need to consider some different positions so that they are both physically comfortable. And it's just a matter of identifying what's going on within your body and then sharing it with your spouse. Now, a third area in conjunction with that is changes in physical stamina, in strength, in joint ease. And so those positions that you change for vaginal comfort might also come into play just with how your body is placed. And that would be more dialogue to share with your husband. It's that age-old, what feels good to me, your spouse needs to know. Boy, I almost turned that into a song and didn't mean to. How about the fourth one? There is decrease in sexual arousal and desire. Now, women might have experienced seasons of that throughout their life, but at this stage, certainly towards midlife, menopausal, that can become an even bigger issue. And what happens in a relational component is that the husband needs to know that what is going on inside his wife's body is not about him. We don't want the husband to experience any kind of rejection because the wife is having that loss of sexual desire. So a lot of communication needs to take place around that point. And then the fifth problem that's very common that women face is body image and acceptance of the changes within her body. So muscle tone and skin texture, wrinkles, spots, oh my goodness, the list goes on and on, that women's bodies, everybody's body changes. And men have body issues too, absolutely. But women seem to deal with them more. So many reasons because of that, partly just the culture that we live in and the emphasis on body image. But those are 5 areas that are potentially big problems. But as I said, they're so common that the resources that you can consider for help are plentiful. And a thought in conjunction with that is, I have some people that will make the comment, oh, well, we've just been together for so long that I know that we'll get closer and we'll work this out. Well, if you have some great communication tools and relationship skills, then yes, absolutely, you will work it out and you will get closer. But you also hear people say, we just drifted apart. We kind of lead separate lives now. So longevity does not guarantee closeness. And that means you need to be intentional, and this information will help you to make those choices. And speaking of choices, I want to share with you the second way a midlife sex crisis can help. If you work through the conflict, you'll be stronger if you work through the conflict. And I said choices because we have choices with whatever actions we take. Sometimes it seems more like a reaction, impulsive choices. And you might identify these as getting mad, tough, hard, resistant, independent. And when there's fear, boy, we do make some crazy choices that don't necessarily serve us in the long run. So if there is fear with all of the potential issues, problems, crisis, then it can send you down a path that is not helpful for you as an individual and certainly not helpful for you as a couple. So that is one pathway of choices and actions. But there is another pathway of choices and action that actually draws you closer together. That when you trust, when you get vulnerable, when you get soft, when you open up, when you choose to go towards each other, even if there's there's pain, there's scary spots. That will be a choice that will make you stronger. And then that brings me to the third way that a midlife sex crisis could be a good thing for your marriage. If you look at these problems in light of your faith walk, it'll make it easier. It'll make it clearer. So let me unpack this for you just a little bit. As a Christian, we are told we will have trials on this earth, and truly, everyone goes through trials. No one is immune. And as a Christian, we have choices about how we invite God to walk with us on those trials. And we have choices here because you can get mad at God. You can say, this isn't fair. I don't deserve this. You must not really love me. Why did you let this happen? I mean, these thoughts do run across, and we have to be aware of that. So definitely you have a choice to push away from God. But if you press into God and you say, I don't understand, but I trust you, and I know that you have good planned for me and that I want to pursue the good you have planned for me. When you partner with God, you bring all of His goodness to the situation, which is totally going to turn it around. And this makes me think of John 15:15, when there's this beautiful example of Father God's love for Jesus, and then Jesus' love for His people, for the church. It's like the comparison of the bridegroom with the bride. And truly, sexual intimacy in marriage is the best model on earth of what that deep place of love looks like. Just like Father God with Jesus, and then Jesus with the church, because it's the daily trusting, it's the daily sharing, it's the daily give and take. That's your faith walk. Your faith walk is encouraging yourself and reminding yourself of what God's promises and truth really is. And if you can do that in your faith walk, you can do that in your marriage, because you're not drawing on yourself. You are drawing on God as your resource, because He has already given you that image, that model to follow. And I love it because God designed marriage to be a good thing for us. And so that means He has prepared a path, an amazing path that will bring healing and wholeness to every area. But I know it can be very difficult to make that shift when you are wanting to leave a mindset that's based on fear and you're wanting to choose a mindset that's based on love. So I created a relationship development guide called Step Into the Powerful You, and I would love to share that with you. It's a free gift. Because I believe that the steps that it lays out for you will help you make that shift, make those choices that are wonderful for you, and then that is an overflow that you can bring to your marriage. So look below for all the details on Step Into the Powerful You. Thanks so much for joining me, and remember, Father God wants to lavish His love upon every area of your life, including your sexual intimacy in marriage.